After being absent from the famous program for a considerable amount of time, Kelly Ripa made her triumphant return to LIVE, and her devoted followers are overjoyed to see her back. So, what exactly took place in the most recent scenes with Kelly returning, and what did the audience have to say about it? However, Kelly Ripa was not present on the popular talk show. When Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos are the headliners of LIVE, it is painfully noticeable when either one of them or both of them disappear when they are not there during the broadcast. When viewers sit down to watch the program, they are certain that they are going to be treated to a section that will make them feel good, because the husband and wife have a tendency to keep the issues they discuss on the lighter side and away from things like politics. Fans of the show were disappointed to learn that Kelly Ripa was absent for a number of episodes of the program. Many people are of the opinion that the show would not be the same without the dynamic that both Kelly and Mark bring to the show. On Monday, August 11, Kelly returned to her regular routine after being absent from all of the programs of the previous week. The audience had a lot of things to say about her comeback back to work. Fans are overjoyed that Kelly will be returning to the show due to the fact that Kelly Ripa is making her huge comeback to the LIVE. People are overjoyed to have her back, and they did not hesitate to express their satisfaction with her appearance. Despite the fact that some viewers were dissatisfied with the fact that certain segments were pre-recorded, the great majority of fans are pleased to watch more of the show, particularly considering that many other popular programs are already on their summer break. The fact that the show that aired on Monday had been pre-recorded was one of the aspects of this season's most recent episode that irritated fans. There were fresh interviews with Gina Davis and Seth MacFarlane included in the publication despite this fact. "Glad to see Kelly back," stated a commenter who arrived not too long ago. Another commenter chimed in, saying, "Yay, the return of Kelly. Hello, Kelly." "Hello, Mark." And further individual added, "Stop complaining whether it's LIVE or not. The majority of shows, such as Drew and The View, are airing reruns during the summer. Not only does this show record new episodes when it is not live, but it also records fresh introductions for replays. In addition, they have been taking vacations throughout the month of August for the past 20 years, prior to the beginning of the new season. According to the comments of another user, they have always taken the majority of August off. The View is also affected. Don't be so hard on them. They are engaged in other activities and are deserving of some time off. It is typical for them to return around the end of August or the beginning of September. To what extent do you appreciate the fact that Kelly Ripa has returned to the show after taking a week off the previous week? Do you believe that some of the show's viewers are being critical in a manner that is a little bit too harsh? When the lights came up inside the familiar New York studio, there was an electricity in the air that even the producers behind the scenes couldn't quite describe. The seats were filled with fans clutching mugs, clapping with a rhythm that seemed almost rehearsed. The camera swept across the audience before centering on the tall, warm presence of Mark Consuelos, who, for the last few weeks, had been holding down the fort without his wife and co-host, Kelly Ripa. But this morning wasn't just any show. This was the morning Kelly Ripa returned. For viewers at home, the moment came with an audible gasp. The upbeat theme music swelled as the doors parted, and out she came, bright smile, fitted in a chic cream suit that shimmered under the stage lights. Kelly waved, hugged audience members on the aisle, and then did a little spin before landing beside her husband, who couldn't contain the grin spreading across his face. The return wasn't just a homecoming, it was a rescue. The ratings dip. LIVE with Kelly and Mark has long been a morning TV staple, a place where celebrity meets domestic banter, where the country tunes in for equal parts laughter, gossip, and relatability. But with Kelly's sudden absence, what she called her mini sabbatical, ratings had started to wobble. Guest co-hosts had stepped in, and though Mark was steady, charming, and undeniably warm, there was something missing, something only Kelly could bring. Producers whispered about it in closed-door meetings. The show's chemistry wasn't just built on the scaffolding of morning show formula. It was powered by the spark of Kelly herself. Her wit, her quick tongue, her habit of sharing family stories that made millions of viewers feel like they were old friends catching up over coffee. Mark admitted as much on a previous episode. "I'm doing my best," he said with a shrug. "But this show, it's like a two-part harmony. Without her, I'm just out here singing karaoke." Viewers agreed. Ratings slipped. Headlines buzzed. Was Live E losing its morning crown? Kelly's grand entrance. That's why her return carried so much weight. As she sat down next to Mark, the cheers still echoing, she leaned forward with her trademark mischievous grin. "Did you miss me?" she teased, throwing her hands up to the audience. The crowd roared back, "Yes." Mark, playing along, feigned wiping a tear. "I've been living on granola bars," and audience applause. "Please don't ever leave me again." Kelly laughed, patting his hand. "You did fine, honey, but I watched some clips, and let's just say, the house plant next to you was stealing a lot of your lines." The studio erupted. That was the Kelly magic. In just 30 seconds, she got taken control of the room, balanced humor with warmth, and turned a ratings crisis into a ratings reset. The behind-the-scenes story. Kelly later revealed during the episode why she stepped away. "I just needed a little recharge," she admitted candidly. "We've been doing this for years, and I realized I hadn't taken a proper pause in forever. But the funny thing is, I spent the whole time away yelling at my TV. Why didn't he say this? Or, oh, I would have told that story better." Mark chuckled knowingly. "She was texting me mid-show. I was on air and my phone would buzz. Say the thing about Lola's TikTok." It was a rare, behind-the-curtain look at their marriage and work dynamic, one that highlighted why the two resonate so deeply with viewers. They weren't just co-hosts. They were a married couple who brought their real lives into America's living rooms. Their banter wasn't scripted, and audiences could feel that authenticity. Saving the show. Industry insiders were already watching closely. Within hours of her return, the internet buzzed with clips of Kelly's entrance, her jokes, and even her reunion banter with Mark. Twitter was flooded with hashtags like #KellyIsBack and #LiveWithKellyandMark. By the end of the week, preliminary ratings showed an undeniable uptick. The return episode pulled in some of the show's highest numbers of the season, particularly among younger viewers. A demographic daytime shows often struggle to maintain. Producers knew it. Kelly had saved the show's momentum. One executive put it bluntly to a trade magazine: "Mark is wonderful, but Kelly is the heartbeat. When she's there, it feels like live. When she's not, it feels like a version of live." A fresh chapter. Kelly, for her part, didn't just come back to business as usual. She hinted at new ideas to keep the show fresh and appealing in an era when audiences are distracted by streaming platforms and social media. "I want to try some things," she said during a chat with Mark. "Maybe more behind-the-scenes stuff. Maybe showing people what our mornings look like before the cameras roll. Maybe we let the viewers decide on certain segments. I think the show should feel like a community, not just a broadcast." Mark raised an eyebrow. "So basically, we're going to live stream you yelling at me to get out of the bathroom faster?" Kelly grinned. "If people wanted, yes." The audience howled. The personal touch. But what made Kelly's return truly resonate was the vulnerability she brought with her. Toward the end of the episode, she grew serious, turning directly to the camera. "I don't take this job lightly," she said. "I know it might just feel like morning chatter, but the fact that so many of you invite us into your homes every day, it means something. I've gotten letters, messages, people stopping me on the street saying, 'You helped me smile through a hard time.' And I don't ever want to forget that." The studio grew quiet. Mark reached over and squeezed her hand. "That," he said softly, "is why you're the best." And just like that, the emotional arc was complete. The queen had returned to her throne, not with arrogance, but with humility, humor, and heart. The aftermath. In the weeks that followed, ratings continued to climb. Segments from Kelly's first week back dominated TikTok trends, especially a moment where she teased Mark about his cooking. He thinks making cereal qualifies as a home-cooked meal. Celebrities too chimed in. Andy Cohen tweeted, "Kelly Ripa is back and my mornings are saved." Reese Witherspoon commented on an Instagram clip, "Nobody does it like Kelly." The show's advertisers, reassured by the numbers, renewed deals with confidence. The producers even began teasing new specials, including a potential live roadshow where Kelly and Mark would take Live-E to different cities across America. Conclusion: Kelly Ripa's big return to Live-E with Kelly and Mark wasn't just about one episode or even a bump in ratings. It was about the reminder that personality, authenticity, and connection are what keep a show alive in an oversaturated media landscape. The audience doesn't just tune in for celebrity interviews or cooking demonstrations. They tune in for Kelly and Mark, for their love story told through banter, for Kelly's razor-sharp quips, for the comfort of knowing that no matter what happens, their mornings can begin with laughter. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below.